You're muted.
Hello, everybody. I was muted, so you didn't hear me say that I'm giving everybody $100,000, $1 million. Actually, you're going to receive a $1 million training tonight. Welcome. I'm Kim Coles, and this is Dr. EJ Johnson. Welcome to day 2. Finish strong, shine forward. Day 2, we're going to talk about releasing and recoding who you are not bringing into 2026. Welcome.
All right.
Welcome. All right, I'll move the slide. I love this idea of, this phrase that we hear in popular culture. What you not gonna do? Oh, what you not gonna do? You're not gonna bring 2025 energy into 2026 by the time we're done with this call. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kim Coles. I'm an actress, comedian, author, speaker, coach, an intuitive coach. I am absolutely connected to the divine whenever I coach my beautiful people. I call you my soulmate clients if you're in my world. I've been in show business. I'm going into my 41st year. I've been doing it for a long time as an actor and as a comedian, and expanded my brand into speaking and coaching and authoring and also publishing. I am a best-selling author, and I help others become best-selling authors. I love to teach presence and confidence, and I just help you unlock it within yourself. And I've helped over 90 authors become bestsellers, and that makes me super happy to use my gift in many, many ways. And I will introduce to you my co-host for the evening, Dr. EJ Johnson.
Hello. That's me. I was just popping off to check a technical challenge I think is happening. But yes, I'm Dr. EJ Johnson. I have coached and trained and consulted with over 1,300 businesses and small business owners and entrepreneurs over my 30-year coaching span. And it is a delight to work with people who want to create something. I see people showing up in the audience on YouTube. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And I just want to say that one of the things that I find beautiful about what I get to do is I get to share my gifts and talents with other people who are trying to make an impact in their own corner of the world, with the people that they care about. And that really brings me a lot of joy. So anytime I can help an entrepreneur, a coach, a healer, an artist expand who they reach and touch with their work, it's always a blessing. So I'm happy to be here.
Good. Well, happy to be here working with you. EJ and I are partners in several senses of the word, and we're going to partner tonight. We did it yesterday, tonight, and tomorrow. So there's more goodness to be had and held. We decided to partner to create this really powerful 3-day experience to help you sort of really get clear on 2025. Last night we talked about harvesting all, and the and of 2025. The good, the bad, the ugly, the yummy, the yucky, the joyful, and everything in between. And the replays for that event are still up and will stay up for a while. So you can go back and rewatch that. We did some powerful reflections, and I give you story prompts, and then we talked about story and story structure and how to look at your stories through fresh new eyes. And tonight, EJ is going to take the reins and take you through a powerful set of exercises to really get clear on what you want for 2026 and what you are not taking into 2026, what you're leaving behind. Sort of take what's good and spit out the rest, so to speak. Should let you know that there is actually a workbook. So I'm going to put the workbook link in the chat. If for some reason this does not show up on whatever platform you are in, while EJ is doing his thing, I will go behind the scenes and post that. We got some word yesterday that it was not linking on YouTube and LinkedIn. So I will physically go into those places because we're live in lots of places, and make sure that the workbook link is there for you. We want you to have those resources. We're calling it a resource book because not only is it a workbook where we review what has happened on that, on today's class or workshop or experience, also what happened yesterday, and we'll prepare you for tomorrow. So this is a living document. And so if there's something that we're talking about that's not there yet, worry not, it's fitting to come. When we're done, we'll take it and update that document. So it's a living document. Make a copy of it if you want to, but just know that that copy will not update, only the original document that we're putting up. So maybe wait until the end and grab it, and know that we'll have it there for you. So I will go and make sure that it's in all the places it needs to be. The resources are going and growing, and EJ has created a surprise, which we sort of hinted at yesterday. And wait till you get a load of it. I think we'll deliver it to you tomorrow. The other note I would say is feel free to share this out with people. We created this 3-day challenge, and we wanted to share it with everyone. So if there's someone that you want to take on this journey with you of maximizing all the lessons and blessings from 2025 and deciding powerfully and setting the intention powerfully and stepping into activating powerfully what you want for 2026, then you're in the right place. And I say invite a friend. Invite a friend or two. So hello, everybody. EJ, let me know. Give me the thumbs up if the technical issue is managed. If you're ready to pop back on. Tell me what's going on. Maybe I could play with it in the background. What's going on?
Well, we had, I think, a little bit of a challenge with the link for the in studio audience. So I think folks got an inaccurate link sent to them to be in studio. So if they're not watching it on one of the social media channels, then they probably won't be in the studio.
Oh,
So
well,
unfortunately, all of those people who registered to be in the studio got the wrong link. So
ay caramba.
it happens.
Tech happens. Well, the good news is we will leave the replay up. If you're on my email list, when we're done, I'll send you an email and send you the link to the replay. If you're on EJ's list, he'll send you a link to the replay, and we'll keep it going. And the good news, it will remain live for a minute or two or 3 or 12. Well, let me get to this, and so I can get EJ to his fabulous coaching. You'll see what it was like to be one of the 1,300 people and or entities that he coached. This is his jam. You cannot take your residue into your rise. What? You cannot take your residue into your rise. And so therefore, day 2, this is day 2 of our 3-day challenge. It's about releasing what cannot follow you. This is your transformation journey, and we're going to move from reflection into action. There's a lot of, talk of reflecting, and people call it navel gazing, where you're staring down and you're looking and you're wanting to find the answers. But once you get an inkling of what those answers are, it is about putting things into action. That no transformation happens without the action, and this is how you find and really activate your power. You are a powerful being, and the power is within you, and the ways and the means are within your realm for all kinds of change and miracles to happen. You get to be in charge of that. So today is about releasing what should not follow you, like what you leave, or I like to call it, leave it in the cornfield. You're gonna step into an identity that you choose for yourself. A lot of people talk mindset, and there's mindset, but then there's identity work, like who I be. And I understand that is not grammatically correct, but you'll understand when you work with EJ in just a moment. And we're going to do the inner cleanup. The inner cleanup is necessary to have alignment with the outer alignment. You got to clean away all that stuff and get rid of all the gunk so that alignment can happen. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So today's intentions are to release the residue, to identify the old beliefs and identities and bless them because they've served you as far as they have. We're not in the school of thought where you just, curse any piece of you or curse any piece of your blessing or any piece of your journey. It's all a blessing if you choose to look at it. I think that that activates more positivity rather than, you know, throwing everything away like ew. It's like, ew, what was that? Instead of ew, it's like, oh. And then what do we want now? You get to choose that. We're going to define an elevated 2026 self, an elevated and aligned 2026 self. And that's what this session is about. And we're going to practice private embodiment. That's another one of those words that now I'm really stepping into the understanding that you must embody the who you want to be in order for it to be a fully aligned and fully integrated experience. And we're going to anchor that in. Wow. We're going to anchor that in. We're going to lock it in. Chang, chang, lock it in so that it belongs to you and that you can uh, reverberate that other out. People will see you and go, "Ooh, there's a glow that you have." It's like it could be the skincare, but it also could be the inner care that you're doing, the work that you're doing. So, EJ, I will let you take it away. Or do I? Do you want me to read this slide? You want me to read the slide? What is 2025 residue? It's regret. Like, what would I have done differently? What could I have done differently? What, you know, looking at it with that the eye of like, oh no, I missed something. I've missed out on something, and the regret that goes along with you. What if you haven't missed anything? That's all, what I'll say. A way to look at it. The overgiving that so many of us do. I'm going to give and give and give. I'm going to put out this energy. I'm going to let you take from me. I'm going to let you be a vampire. And then you've got nothing left for yourself. The under earning, you know, the not realizing what you deserve to receive, what you are worth, playing small financially, not charging what you're worth, not asking for what is meant to be yours, undervaluing your worth. That's residue. Self-doubt, the inner critic, you know, I can't do it, the imposter syndrome, questioning your capabilities, questioning your worthiness, questioning your readiness, self-doubt. The emotional clutter, ooh, I can raise my hand on this one. What's the resentment, the disappointment, the hurt feelings, the I didn't like what you said to me. Holding on to that, it needs to be processed and it needs to be released. And also the energetic heaviness, the accumulated amount of stress and overwhelm and carrying other people's emotions as your own. For those of us who are empaths, you'll understand this one, that you can walk into a room and feel the heaviness. You know, maybe the chaos that's going on in the world, you can feel it and you take it on because you think you can, and maybe you can. Empathy is given to you because you can take it on. But what do we do when taking it on causes so much stress that we cannot shine ourselves? And so we're going to finish strong and shine forward. And this is how we do it. EJ, the stage is yours. I'll be
Thank you.
here with you in the background. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you. So I'm gonna actually take take a moment just to ask everybody to breathe for one moment with me. Just and I want to start by saying that there are things that happen before we come to an event like this. There are things that are happening during the time that we are partaking in life, a training like this, and there will be things that happen after. And those of you who've been with us from the beginning of this stream know that, you know, I mentioned a technical challenge. So I'm releasing everything that I have attached to that technical challenge and being concerned about people getting the right link and all of that. I'm releasing that right now to be fully present with you. And so I want to ask that you take another breath with me. And that you agree to release all that you had going on before, during the time we're together, and be fully present here with me, with us. The people to be here are here. And so As I release that, it's apropos because we're talking today about releasing an old identity of who we were or who we have been that no longer serves what we want to create uh, in our future, right? What we want to create as our 2026. That is the topic for today, is for us to release what cannot follow us. And so what we experienced, or what I experienced right now with you, is a releasing in a very small scale, but a releasing of the energy of I need to fix it, and I need to fix it fast. And that can't serve me right now. It's not serving me in this space of being with you and sharing what there is to share. And the people who didn't make it here will see it in the replay, that I'm releasing the fact that I can't fix it in this moment, to give my attention to what is important for me to give my attention to in this moment. And this isn't even on my plan to say. This just happened, right? I didn't make this up. It's just happening right now. And isn't that how life is? It just happens, right? It doesn't always go according to the plan. It just kind of unfolds sometimes. And sometimes we don't have control over the manner or the things that are unfolding, but we do have 100% control over how we energetically interact with what's happening. And so, what you're witnessing right now in real time is what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. You're witnessing it in me. And so, we're talking about releasing what we can't take into 2026. There's so many versions of us that simply don't work anymore. And I want to give a quick story so that you get the context of what I'm talking about when I say sometimes we can't take the version of ourselves from 2025 or even previous versions into 2026, because we're creating something that we don't even know how it's going to unfold. We don't even know. We're giving ourselves permission in this challenge to harvest the things from our past that we could utilize, and then to acknowledge those lessons. I don't know where that thumb came from, but to acknowledge those lessons and then take what we can utilize into the next expression of who we are, into creating the life that we desire. And so, an example of this is, and we're going to talk a lot about identities, because we assign identities to ourselves. Society assigns identities to us. Our parents, our friends, our neighbors, our partners, our lovers, our husbands, our wives, our spouses, children, all assign identities to us. But there's an identity that we assign to ourselves that, while there are great lessons from that identity, there are certain things about it that just won't work for us to get to the next evolution and transition into that powerfully. And so we're going to look at what no longer serves us, right? About those identities and how we can transform those identities into something that we can utilize in our future. So, our first thing you have to do, you can't just assume a new identity, right? I mean, you could, but it's kind of like that thing that our parents say. Well, at least I know my mother used to say that you never put, how did she phrase it? You never put clean clothes on a dirty body, right? Because if your body is dirty, you throw clean clothes on it, the smell of it obviously is going to come through, and you just, nobody wants to be dirty in some fresh, clean clothes. Like, it just doesn't work. Well, the same thing applies to who you're being, who you are, who we are, how we want to be in the future, the things we want to experience in the future. You can't take the same old version of yourself and expect a brand new result, right? The version of you, there's nothing wrong with it, and you desire more. So in your desiring of whatever it is, a new house, a better life, a fitter body, a partner that loves you, whatever it is you desire, it's perfect, but it requires a release of the old and an acknowledgement and learning transitional phase of the new in order to expand yourself to the place where you can receive what it is that you're asking for, or what it is that you desire, or what it is that is your goal, however way you want to language it. And so we're going to look at the first release prompt. This is work that you do in an ongoing basis. And let me really bring this one home. We're giving you a lot of things to look at about yourself, about what you believe, about how you feel, about your experiences. There was a lot last night. There's a lot tonight. There's a lot of looking at you. And I realize that this can be challenging because it's not a everyday type of conversation where you're walking into scenarios and they're like, well, hey, let's look at the deeper part of why you feel this way. Like, that's not an everyday thing. And sometimes it can feel a little bit disjarring and unnerving, and some things come up that may not feel quite right or well or happy or joy filled. They may be a little, things that feel a little off center. I want you to know that's perfectly normal. It's okay. Grant yourself the grace to do this work, because it's through this work that you start to uncover some of those blind spots that may have prevented things from materializing for you in the past. Like, if a lot of my clients come to me and say, I'm having trouble manifesting this or manifesting that. And usually it's a small tweak that they can't see that is blocking the materialization or the manifestation of something that they truly desire. Right? They're doing everything right on paper, but there's a little thing that's in the blind spot that they can't see. And it's through this prompting, this reflection, this work is where you find those things, and you can actually shine light on them so that manifestation and materialization of the things that you truly desire become ease filled and effortless. And so as you do this prompting work, you do this reflective work, grant yourself grace in this process and allow yourself to expand beyond the place that might be comfortable, right? Just allow yourself that just for the 3 days that you're with us. And then you'll feel strong enough to do this on a regular basis. But trust the process. That's what I ask. So let's look at this prompt, this first prompt. What am I no longer available for in 2026? And I want you to reflect on something that traditionally is called a boundary, right? What is it? What boundaries maybe that you bulldozed over in the past and ignored in the past, but what boundaries have you forsaken in the past that you will no longer be available for in 2026? And now my beloved Kim Coles likes to call these boundaries peaceful perimeters. How can you reflect and look at your own identify the behaviors, the situations, the patterns that you're ready to leave behind? Like, take a moment with this because I want to give you an example. I know that going into 2026, I no longer want to entertain conversations that are harmful to others. I no longer want to be a part of those types of conversations because I know on a energetic level that those conversations are harmful not only to the person that I'm talking with or talking about, but they're harmful to me, right? And I know that that is a boundary, but there are certain people in my life. I don't know if you, I might be the only person who has this experience, but there are certain people in my life where all we have in common is gossip. Like there's nothing else. When that person's called, it's like it's gonna be like, ooh, 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 what happened? Right? You know that you get excited because it's entertaining. It's often you can laugh about it. I'm just being vulnerable here. I'm being honest. Like this is real. There's one person that comes to mind right now. I will not name that person, but I know when I look at the caller ID and I see that name, I know it's going to be good. It's like we're going to talk for at least an hour. And in that hour, it's going to be nothing but kiki and haha in the male version, right? It's just fun, right? But I know that even though I know it's, you know, spiritual and as much as I know about karmic uh energetic flow, even still it is a weakness for me that I want to hear from this person, but I know that energetically it's not good for them, it's not good for me, and it's not good for any of the people that we might have discussed. It serves no purpose but a waste of time and laughing in the moment. And so, as a boundary going into 2026, in an effort to take my own self to my next level, I'm establishing that as a peaceful perimeter that I will no longer entertain these conversations. And if my friend and I cannot find something else to talk about other than the people or circumstances that we talk about in the past, then maybe our friendship is not really a friendship. Maybe it's stuck in a place in history that I need to release and let go of. Right? We've all had those relationships with people, or those experiences, or those behaviors, or ways of being that are stuck, that keep us stuck in a place in history that no longer assist us in getting to the dream of our life that we have, right? Because I know that I can't go to the next level of who I want to be with this energy. I know that. And put in the chat if you have someone in your life like that. Oh, someone said I thought of someone too. Okay, you made me feel good. I'm not alone. So as you look at this prompt, it doesn't have to be a person, right? Because guess what? The person I'm speaking of, I'm just as responsible as he is. Like we're both responsible for our communication in that exchange. It's not just, oh, I know when he calls, it's going to be great time, right? It's going to be a great time, fun and all. But I know that I can say to him, hey man, let's talk about this, your business. Let's talk about what you're doing with your wife. Let's how things are happening with your kids. Let's talk about something that's energetically and vibrationally where I want to grow. I can lead that conversation. I can choose to transform that conversation. What you'll find, and what I've noticed in the past, whenever I've done this, is that when I choose to be the leader in that situation, to transform that with my own energetic boundary, either that person will rise up energetically, or they will do what I like to call, I'm going to go cook my turkey. And I'll tell you, Kim is laughing in the background, but I'll tell you what I'm going to go cook my turkey is. When when you ask someone to rise up energetically, to elevate their energy, and it's not in them to do that at this time. It makes them uncomfortable. You've all experienced this. You've grown in some way, be it, maybe it's your walk with your creator, maybe it's you got married and you are now family, and now the people you used to hang out with and party in the clubs with, they don't understand why you're booed up and you don't want to do that anymore. Like, that's a scenario where you separate from the old pattern or old behavior, right? But cooking your turkey is when you're in a position where you ask someone to rise up to their next evolution because you've grown and now you're trying to be a leader in that essence, and you're like, come on, you could come with me. And that person's like, I'm gonna go over here and do the things that I've always done because that's what I want to do. I'm cool staying here in this lower vibrational energy. It's like, I'm gonna go cook my turkey. You go do whatever you want to do, but I'm going to run over here. And they have to disappear. They have to move on to be with the energy, like the energy that they're in. It's like when you grow, you want to be around the energy of that growth, right? It's the very thing that the whole law of attraction is all about. It's like energy attracts like energy. And so I keep getting these little things on the screen that pop up. I don't know what it is, but what am I no longer available for in 2026? Now, I just gave you my example. I'm no longer available for gossip. I'm no longer available for it. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. It's gossip. And I'm not going to allow that to come into my 2026, simply because I know that even after the call, I don't even feel good after the call. It's like I'm good on the call, and afterwards I'm like, oh man, I said some stuff. I cracked some jokes about someone else's whatever. So, what are you no longer available for? Now, I know you may have to take some time with this, and that's fine. These questions are here to inspire you to look at it. It could be, hey, I'm no longer available for frivolous spending. I'm going to be a good steward of my money. I'm no longer available for a loveless relationship. It could be anything. It's whatever you want. It's your peaceful perimeter. I want to move on to release prompt number 2. What beliefs, habits, or behaviors, habits, or beliefs? This is not unlike the first prompt, right? It's like, I know that my behavior of gossip, of taking phone calls that I know are going to be gossipy phone calls, I'm going to release that behavior. But the belief is a little bit deeper. So I want you to really explore this. And I'm going to do this for you as an example. I know that I gossip, and I know that's a behavior, but there's also a belief under that as well. And I'm being really vulnerable and transparent. This is probably something I would do in the quietude of my own uh, home in my own journal, but I'm going to do this right now on the internet with you. And I'm looking at the belief that, maybe I have this belief back there that I can feel better about myself if I say something that is derogatory about someone else. In some micro way, there is a belief back there that I need to be better than someone else to feel better about me. Now, there's more unpacking for me to do around that, but that just popped up for me. Just looking at this prompt with you, just walking through this process right now. Like that's a belief that I want to root out. I need to get that one out because I may dress it up fancy and be like, I'm not going to talk to this guy on the phone because I know we're going to gossip. But that's just the surface level. Like I want to root out the belief. What is the belief that I believe that this is good or okay or something I actually want to spend time on? What is the belief back there? Right? This is the excavation of what's happening behind the scenes, because there's always something. There's a habit, there's a behavior, there's a belief that is attached to that peaceful perimeter, right? It's like the perimeter is the first step, but getting down to the root of what it is, what is the satisfaction that I get? What causes the satisfaction? What causes the feeling of joy or fun that I get in that moment? Because it's false. It's 100% false. I can tell you. So me being on the phone gossiping about one of our other friends and having fun at that person's expense is sponsoring or supporting what belief that I have about myself. Is it that I'm a person, or maybe it's that I should be doing better, or and the reason why I start with I is because it's always about you. It's never about the other person. It's always about you. It's like there is something there that I have to look at. I get to look at. Now, let me say this. Let me hold up. Because Kim always says that I fire hose. I'll be pushing out a lot of stuff. So I want to slow this down for just 1 second. Let me say that this work that you're doing is brave. It's courageous. If you are on this live stream and are watching the replay and you choose to walk down this path, I assure you there are many layers to this path. It's like an onion, right? Like one thing gets pulled away and then there's like, ooh, I didn't know that was there. And then there's just like I'm walking through this with you. I looked at the gossip. That was the first layer. I asked myself, what beliefs, habits, or behaviors must I release? Well, in order to have the peaceful perimeter from prompt 1, I gotta look at what I need to transform in prompt 2. What do I have to transform about me in order for me to have that? In order to have a year with no gossip, a life with no gossip, what beliefs and habits and behaviors do I have to release for me? Wow, I got like I don't know if that's a sign, but I got like fireworks or whatever. But what do I have to work on for me? Is there a limiting belief that I have about myself? And that for that moment I'm gossiping, I feel relief from that. Like this is, for lack of a better term, this is nasty work. It's like, it's not fun. Like, I don't want to reveal this about myself on the internet, on a video that's going to stay here forever. Like, this is not cool. But you get to do this in the quietude of your own home. And I urge you not to turn away from it, to like embrace it fully, because I know what's on the other side of it is real, and it's joy, and it's unearthing those blocks that have had you feel stuck at times or frustrated by the fact that life is not turning out the way you planned it. I'm here to tell you that you literally can create your life 100% the way you want it and have it turn out the way you want it. And part of the work to get there is this. And that's why, it really kind of makes it easy to go through this process with you, to actually reveal this even about myself, because I know on the other side of it, I've done it so many times in so many other areas that the onion keeps peeling away so that more is revealed, so that I can ascend to the next level of who I'm to be. So don't shy away from this work. It may feel hard at times, but keep going. Trust the process. It gets a little bit easier, and you'll be surprised what you see as you kind of peel back these layers. So let's move on to prompt 3, as if we didn't have enough with prompt 1 and 2. Let's just keep this thing going. I'm going to take a sip here. What relationships? This one, I started to make it optional. And I was like, no, this is not really optional. We need this one too. What relationships, commitments, and dynamics drain my energy? This one's a little tricky. It's not really tricky, but it truly causes us to look at what we've given who we've given our commitments to, what we've given our commitments to, and how those scenarios or hanging around those people really do drain some of the energy that we are here to utilize towards getting to our next expression, whatever our desires are. Right? You know those people, and I'll use my example of the gossip and my friend who I talk to and we gossip together. That's an energy drain. That relationship is an energy drain. And I even kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, is like, I need to transform that relationship. I need to be the leader in transforming that relationship if it's going to remain a friendship. Because if I'm saying my perimeter is no gossip, and I'm looking at the beliefs I have about myself, like putting someone down, I momentarily feel good, that makes me feel good about myself. I need to look at why do I feel inferior in this way? What do I need to do to work on myself in that way? I can't go back to a conversation with my buddy and have the same conversation again. Like, it's just not possible. So I know that in the moment we're doing it, there's that momentary feeling of, ooh, this feels good, it's fun, it's great. And then the moment I'm off the phone, I'm like, oh, what did I do? That's a drain of energy. If you have relationships where you feel that way, where it's like there's dread either before or after, during or after an exchange with that person, you got to look at how can you either, one, be the leader in that relationship and try to transform it to one that is not draining, or how do I establish my peaceful perimeter, and maybe that person is on the other side of the perimeter, right? I'm not saying, here's something that's interesting that I recently learned, that there's a whole a whole generation of adults, and I think they're in the millennial group of, millennials, that are walking away from their families and parents. And they're just like, ugh, I'm done. I don't want to have anything to do with my mom, dad, siblings, anybody. I'm just out here on my own. I'm not going to have contact. They're going no contact is the term. It's an actual term. So, in their books written about it, I learned all of this by just watching an Oprah podcast. And they were talking about adult children going no contact with their parents because they believed that they were in a toxic environment and they didn't like the way the parents were, treated them, or whatever reason. There was a myriad of reasons why. And every person has their own experience, so every person will have their own reason, right? But there's this whole group of people now who feel like, you know what, I'm just going to go no contact. I don't need them in my life. I'm going to put them in a box over here, and I'm not going to entertain. They're not going to have a front row seat to my life. And as for me, as a Gen Xer, I feel like, there was one way when I was experiencing learning this, where as a Gen Xer, I was like, we just toughed it out. Like, we'll just, like, whatever. You don't like me, auntie or cousin or mom or whatever. I'm still here. This is my family. I'm not going anywhere. Like, this is like Gen Xers are like, there's no option. We just fix it, whatever fixing it looked like. But now folks are like, the fix is to go no contact. Like, I don't even want you to have a relationship with me at all. And everybody has their own way of establishing a perimeter. I can't say that in my own life, after really listening to these people talk about going no contact, that I haven't done that to family members at points where I haven't said, I just don't want that person around. Like, that person just, I don't like who I am when I'm around that person. It's like the person, my buddy, I don't like who I am when we converse. So it's up to me to either say, hey, I need to change our dynamic, man. I'm not doing that. I don't want to talk about homeboy. I just want to, let's just, let's focus on some other stuff. Let's talk about sports or something else. I don't anything else. But it's up to me to say that. And then I get to choose, and they get to choose if that's something they're down with. And if they're not, then I got to reevaluate, right? It's like, oh, he's like, no, man, I like talking about such and such. And some people, it's an adjustment. They won't adjust. Remember, like energy attracts like energy. And you have to be okay with letting that go. And so there may be a perimeter with some relationships where you have to reevaluate how much access that person gets to you, or how much energy you give to a person. You're in control of your own energy. You're in control who gets access. It's not up to them. It's up to you to be the leader in the relationship. And so as you're looking at your relationships, you get to evaluate which ones bring you true joy. And, I know during holiday season, this is a big deal because sometimes people struggle with going home for the holidays or having these big family kind of coming together and events. It brings up old trauma. It brings up a lot of things for people. And I want to be sensitive to that, right? Because you could be walking into a situation in a week and a half when it's Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate during the holiday season. And you could be walking right into a situation where there are lots of relationships with different dynamics, some that are edifying and love filled and joy filled, and some that are challenging and complicated and triggering. But I'm here to share with you that doing this work, gets it out of here and here and onto a place. Like if you're journaling, it gets it out of your head and your heart and literally onto a tangible plane where you can look at it a little more logically rather than looking at it purely emotionally, right? Because when you look at it, you're like, hey, being around Aunt Helen is triggering because, she's negative. She's always trying to get me to get married. And she drains me. Like I can, when I show up to this year and Aunt Helen is there, I can choose to be a leader in this relationship. And I can say, Aunt Helen, I don't have an answer for your questions, and don't ask me anymore. When I have something new to share, I will share it with you. Now, you might not be that direct, but you could figure out a way to establish your own perimeters. Or maybe you just say, you know what, holiday dinner is not for me this year. I need to self-care. I need to really ground myself because I'm up to something huge for the next year. And holiday dinner is a bit draining. Right? You have the freedom to do that. And I think in our society today, we don't give ourselves those permissions, right? Especially, I know Gen X and above, those generations are like, we feel obligatory, like it's we're obligated to stay in it, right? And that's not necessarily the healthiest way to go. I'm not saying that you have to leave relationships, but I am saying that you get to reevaluate them whenever you want, and you get to determine if they're supporting or distracting, if they're draining or life-giving. And then you get to lead within that to align it with who you want to become. The same thing goes for commitments. Who are you committing to? What are you committing to? Are you giving your word to something that you have no desire to be a part of? Like reevaluating those times that you give your word to things that no longer serve you. It's powerful. This is energy work. This is release work that you get to do on a regular basis, not just the end of the year or today while we're in this workshop, but like ongoing. Like you should revisit this, because the truth is letting go creates space. It creates space for you to rise. You can't rise if you're tethered. You have to create that space for yourself. So we've been exploring, patterns in our lives that no longer serve us. And it's really time for us to start identifying where we're ready to go, right? What do you truly want? Right? In the work that we've been doing thus far, the work you did yesterday with Kim, if you haven't watched that video, please go back and do it. It was amazing. There's a lot of processes she took you through, a lot of prompts she took you through that are super helpful for harvesting the good out of it. But you get to determine now, as we move through this pretty quickly, I know, because we have a time limit, and anybody who's ever taken a workshop or class with me, and Kim is laughing in the background, I always tend to go over because I have way too much to share with you in the short amount of time that we have, but I'm going to do it tonight and stick to my time. So I keep looking up here because my clock is up here to guide me, Kim. So don't worry. You don't have to snatch me off screen like the Sandman. I'll be good. I want us to look at, we're going to go through this a little bit faster now. So I want us to look at, and I see you all are sending comments, and I appreciate that. I'm going to try to look at the comments, but it's a lot. If I could show you my setup, there's screens there's a big, massive screen in front of me, a clock in front of me, you in front of me, and then there's chat. So I'll try to navigate it all. But what I want to say here is, now that we looked at harvesting what we could take, we looked at establishing our peaceful perimeters and where our energy drains and sucks and what's sucking our energy and what's draining our energy. Now it's time for us to really kind of determine what it is we want to take into 2026. What identity, right? Because remember, we started this, I told you about the identities. What identity do we want to go into 2026 with? Who do we want to be? I want to share with you this identity model that I use with all of my clients. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to get present to what this means. And I'm going to demonstrate it in a minute. We have an old identity. There's an old identity, right? Because you're living, so you've outgrown a lot of your identities. And some of them happen to be just this year. There are some identities in this year that you've taken on that you no longer need because you've outgrown them. And that period between the old identity and the transitioning into a new identity is where you are right now. Right? The fact that you're here, you're watching this video, or you're watching the replay, or however you're consuming this content, means that you recognized in some way your higher self, unconscious mind, whatever you want to call it, some part of you has recognized that there's an old identity that you need to do away with in order to step into the new version of yourself that you want to transition into, which is whatever you want to create in 2026 and beyond. And so you decided, hey, I'm going to take that little challenge that Kim and EJ are doing, and I'm going to see what they're up to. Maybe they can help me break through this old identity or transitioning period, right? In this transition period. And so that's what we're up to. The transition identity bridges you from the old identity and prepares you to step into the elevated identity, right? The elevated identity is the brand new you. It's the version of you that is like, I'm here, baby. This is what I said I was going to do for 2026. And gosh doggone it, it turned out way better than I ever could have imagined. That is the elevated identity, right? And you're constantly, and believe it or not, that identity, as long as you are breathing, is constantly moving, right? You may reach a level, but at some point, that elevated identity will be an old identity. And it'll be time to go again through the cycle, right? It's a process. I always say that if you are not desiring to reach your next elevated identity, then you are taking what I call a dirt nap. Meaning you're no longer worried about anything at that point. You're really just, hey, I'm done, right? But as long as you're breathing, you still have desire. It doesn't matter your age or stage. There's still desire for something as long as you're breathing. And so let me give you an example of this identity model really quickly. I'm looking at my clock, Kim. I am. I really am. So guess what? I used to be in kindergarten. I was about 5 years old, I guess, or so. I was in kindergarten. And in kindergarten, I went to school for a half day. I have a little peachy folder. You guys remember peachy folders? I'm dating myself. Had a little peachy folder. I had crayons, a backpack, a lunch pail, and I went to kindergarten. That was my life. For a whole year, I was in kindergarten every day, right? And I loved it. Kindergarten was great. It was amazing. I was in school every day with friends. Wonderful time. That became an old identity, a kindergartner. I was a kindergartner, right? That's an old identity. You know, the moment it became an old identity? When June hit and school was out and it was time for me to go to first grade in September. What happened between June and September was my transitioning identity. Because during that time, my mom started preparing me. Now, you're going to be in school all day. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. That's great. That's wonderful. Okay. I like school. I love it. Well, you mean I don't get out at 12 noon? I have to stay till 3 o'clock? Yep. You're going to be in school all day till 3 o'clock. Oh, okay. All right. Great, Mom. That's wonderful. All along, new clothes, different backpack, another lunch pail, different type of folder, not just a peachy folder. Now I needed a binder folder, right? Now, not crayons, but I needed markers. So we had to get all new stuff because I'm going to the first grade, going to be in school all day. Ooh, this is wonderful. I'm so happy. First day of first grade. I'm like, oh, what's this? New teacher? Not the same kids in the school, in the class, maybe one or two that I know, but this is new. Where's all the stuff that's on the wall? It's very different here now. You mean there's no nap corner? We don't take a nap? Like, what is happening? That is my transitioning identity. I'm now stepping into my elevated identity as a first grader. Does it serve me to still identify as a kindergartner? No. No, it doesn't. Because kindergartners at 12 noon, they're getting ready to go home. At 12 noon, they're like, it's lunchtime for first graders. You mean we're not going home? No, you're not. You still have 3 more hours of school. So my identity as a kindergartner no longer serves me. And for the first 3 weeks, there's all over summer, first 3 weeks of school, there's a transition period until I fully embrace being a first grader, that it becomes comfortable. I now like my new friends. I like my teacher. We do different things. We're up all day. It's no nap time. I'm a big boy now. I don't have to take a nap. Like, this is great. I am now elevated. I feel really elevated until what? June, when it's time to leave the first grade and do what? My transitioning identity once again. This is a cycle. It happens in every aspect of our life. You go from a parent with a newborn to a parent with an adult child, from a parent with an adult child to a parent with an adult child with a married adult child, and now having children of their own, all transitioning every aspect of your life, right? So get used to that. Like, at least now it's not just happening to you. You can actually create it for yourself. You can design it to look the way you want it to look. You can design your identities. You can step into 2026. Now, guess what? Over the summer break, my mother was designing my transition into being a first grader by saying, hey, you're going to be in school all day. I'm not going to see you for like 6 hours. It's going to be great. Designing it. So when it came to second grade, I'm now ready. I'm designing it myself. Oh, no, mommy, I don't want you to walk me to the door anymore. I got this. Like, I'm second grade. I can walk home from school now. I don't need you to pick me up. It's great. I'm now designing myself. You get to do that. You get to do that in every aspect of your life. And you have done it. And you've done it on automatic, but now you get to do it on purpose. That's what you're creating for your 2026. You get to design it on purpose. These are some old identity examples. I'm not going to go through them because I'm going to put the link to these slides so you guys can play around. Kim is laughing at me so hard right now. So you guys can play around with this and look at these examples in the workbook. Kim will put the workbook. We'll put the workbook back up. And actually, I'm going to put the The QR code at the top of the screen up here, that is the workbook. So you can scan that and you have access to the workbook. There's resources there. There's stuff you'll be able to look at, and we'll put the link to the slides there as well. So I want to quickly go through some identity prompts. And this is not the right one. So the first one is the 2026 version of me is a person who, what? If you could have it the way you want to have it, if you could design it the way you want to design it, who is that person? Who is the 2026 version of you? You know, for me, in the case of the kindergartner, going into, if my mom had sat me down and I had this knowledge, the first grade person of me would have been confident, would have been like, oh, I know, okay, all right, I know this is a big transition. Oh, okay, it's going to take me a little bit to get adjusted, but I know that once I get in there, I'm going to feel confident, I'm going to thrive. Who are you going to be? How will you act? How will you think? How will you feel? That leads us to prompt number 2, which in 2026, I think, I act, I speak, I decide like someone who. Someone who honors their word, someone who leads relationships by saying, hey, you know, gossip is not something I want to do. I don't want to offend you, but I prefer that we not talk about other people. That's the person I'm going to be. I'm going to be the person who speaks the truth, who decides that if this conversation is lower vibration, I don't want to participate in it. That's who I am. That's the person I'm going to be. That's the person I'm deciding to be. Who is that for you? I know I'm moving fast because we're running out of time. Prompt number 3. What qualities does my 2026 self embody? Now, this is powerful. People throw this word around a lot. It's kind of like any of the words that we take on and we throw around a lot. Excuse me for 1 second. The word embody and embodiment gets thrown around a lot. So I want to break it down here for a second. To embody something is to take it on fully, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Most people think of embody and they just go to the physical. But to embody something is to embrace it fully, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And now, taking something on physically anchors it in your body, and that's very, very powerful. And we're going to walk through a little exercise of that in just a moment. But really, to take on the qualities of who you want to be for 2026 is to, in your mind, visualize and see that as so. That's to take it on mentally. Emotionally is to feel the vibrational alignment with the thing that you have accepted mentally. And that emotional alignment should be a high vibrational tone. What do I mean by that? It should elicit joy, happiness, peace, beauty, love, expansion, inspiration, high vibrational tone. It should not fill your heart with dread, pain, grief. That is the opposite, lower vibrational tone. To embody it physically is to feel it in your physical body. Now, I just said feel a high vibration. Yes, that is a emotional feeling, but a physical feeling. You ever feel happy about something and you get tinglies, or you feel inspired by something, or moved or touched by something, and your the hair on your arm stands up. That's what I mean by physically feel into your body. Fully embodying something is to experiences all three levels, right? Now there are other levels to add to that, but we're keeping it simple tonight. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I've asked you to, decide who you're going to be for 2026, how you're going to feel, all those things. I've asked you to do that. I'm going to ask you to do a visualization exercise with me. It's a part of a program that I created called the Elevated Vision Practice. And this program is powerful because it's going to ask you to elicit all three of those positions, about all three of those experiences, about what it is you desire for yourself in your life for 2026. This is how you recode yourself. It's how you recode yourself. So what I'm going to ask you to do in this visualization process, that I'm going to do really quickly because Kim is really giving me the side eye in the background, is I'm laughing. She's not. She's good. But I do want to be mindful and respectful of your time. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to, wherever you are, as long as it's safe for you to just sit and get comfortable wherever you are. If you're driving, please don't do this. But if you are in a place where you can close your eyes, I want to ask you to close your eyes for a moment and just get present to your breath. We don't have to do synchronistic breathing, but get present to the air flowing in and out of your body, knowing that the air coming in is giving you life, and the air that you are exhaling is releasing old stagnant energy that is no longer needed. You are receiving energy and you are expelling energy. All energy, by the way. Just get present to that breath for a moment. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you in your mind's eye to see everything that I ask you. I want you to hear whatever the experience lends to your ears. I want you to feel into your body whatever you feel and just be present to it. What energy, what energy does your 2026 self carry when it enters a room? Imagine a room and who you are in 2026, and you're walking into a room. What is the energy that you carry? This is about presence, the invisible but undeniable energy that emanates from you when you fully step into your power. Is it calm? Is it confidence? Is it warm authority? Peaceful strength? Joyful boldness? What do people feel when you enter a room? What do the other people in the room feel when you enter the room? Is it delight? Is it joy? Excitement? Peace? Healing? Just note what emerges. Just note to yourself what emerges. How does your 2026 self speak, move, and express themselves? Get specific about the physical and vocal expressions of your elevated identity. How do people speak to you? What's different about their tone, their pace, their choice of words? How do they move their body when they're around you? How do they express their emotions? How do they take up space? Sit as your 2026 self. Breathe as your 2026 self. Right now, adjust your posture to match the vision you see as your 2026 self. Breathe the way your elevated self breathes. Let your face soften into the expression your 2026 self would wear. When you're ready, I'd like you to open your eyes. And I'd like you to note in your notes or your book or your journal, just whatever, quickly, whatever it is that you saw there. Just quick things you can go back and remember. If you felt, witnessed, experienced this, this is embodied transformation work. This is how transformation happens. Not just in the mind, but in the body, your nervous system, your very cells. To the extent we empower and embrace and experience our life force energy, our embodied alignment, aliveness, and spirit, this is how you do this work. You visit this person, you stand in the place of this person, you experience this as much as possible. Let this new way of being settle in. And note in your journal or notes what you experience. Whatever you did was perfect. You couldn't get it wrong. Just know that. It was 100% perfect. Even no matter what happened, it was perfect. Still note down what you received. Now let's step into your 2026 presence. You're there. You're done. You're there. You can visit this anytime you want. You know, there's an old saying, act as if, right? This is your acting as if. In your reflective space, you can act as if. And when you step out as if, right? Not imitating something, being it, embodying it. That's what embodiment is all about. You get to recode that. You get to recreate that whenever you want. That is totally within your right to do. You could do it whenever you want. That's the beauty of this. Take a breath. Take a breath with me. I'm looking for my slides now. Oh, we already did the embodiment prompts, so I'm ahead of that. Remember, this is all going to be in your your notebook, so you can look at these slides again. I do apologize. I needed more time. Kim. You forced me into this little short amount of time. I'm just kidding. I'm not blaming Kim. I just have so much I want to share with you, and it just I have so much I want to share with you. So hopefully this was helpful. Let's take a look at what we accomplished today. We released the 2025 residue, identified what cannot follow us into 2026, defined your 2026 elevated identity, practice next level embodiment, right? And we cleared space for your 2026 blueprint. You see, you have to get all of that other stuff out of the way before you can create the blueprint, because you don't want to bring any of the not wanted stuff, the garbage, into your 2026 blueprint. So that's what we've covered today. Kim is coming back. Hey, Kim.
Hello. I have been here with you and going through the processes, and just want to thank you for joining. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for partnering with me to do this. And it's really fun to watch you in your zone. We always do what they call a post-mortem, where we, come together and discuss what happened, and we enjoy each other's process. Some of it's similar and some of it's very different. And I knew you were going off time. I was sitting here reveling in it, but it's because you have so much to give, so much to share, so much to teach. And when you teach in the way that you do it, people hear it in different ways. And so it's like you want to create a smorgasbord, a beautiful buffet for people to come and experience and get it the way that they can get it. So I appreciate you for that. Thank you, EJJ.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I'll give you a chance to read some of the comments. Just so you know, we are going to make sure that you get the resource workbook, which I've been putting here in the chat, but I know not everybody gets to see that. So we're going to go to all the places where we have been.
And it is on my head right now.
On top of his head right there. You can
scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to the resource doc.
So we'll make sure that you all get that. You can scan that. And also resources. And, EJ is a very generous person. And so I want to model that. Also, I want to mirror that. And you were talking about the peaceful perimeter to everyone. And I actually have a freebie that I'd like to share. So I'm going to share my peaceful perimeter journal. I got to figure out how to, EJ will help me get it out of.
We can put it in the workbook. We'll put a link to it in the workbook.
Okay, beautiful. Because it's in my Stan store, and you all can go to my Stan store and get it. But
we'll put a link to.
We'll put a link in the resource, because I am taking on this conversation around not just having walls or boundaries, to name them peaceful perimeters, because it's what I need in order to stay peaceful. So there. And keep the peace. We would like to invite you for part 2. So it's like sort of the after party. So the after party goes down inside the Story and Stage Society. EJ and I co-facilitate a beautiful membership that's on School, that's SKOOL, called the Story and Stage Society. I know that some of our members are already here, and what we offered to anyone who is already a member of Story and Stage, or anyone who wants to become a member of Story and Stage, an opportunity to say yes. And in fact, I'll put the little link here where you can go and sign up if you're not a member. And we're going to immediately jump off, and do a coaching session, a live 30-minute coaching session. This
it was great last night, by the way.
It was really great. We met.
Everybody was awesome.
Yeah. 2 new members, and we had 2 new members come and speak, and then the other folks were there and enjoying. I love saying that the coaching for one is the coaching for all. Whenever someone puts their voice into the space, they're often knowingly or unknowingly speaking for everyone. So we're doing a live coaching session that will start in 6 minutes over there. So if you're not already a member of the Story and Stage Society, let me just tell you what's there. This is for you if you are a speaker, author, coach, visionary, founder, or want to be any of those things. If you are ready to use these kinds of principles to up level, embody a new you, the newest version of you. And I don't mean the new year, new you that we do every year. I'm talking about embodying, stepping into, acting as if someone who is ready to impart their knowledge, impart their wisdom, share their gifts with the world in a really powerful way. I recognize this is not for everyone. If you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur and you really want to take your visibility up to the next notch, you want to really embody that visibility, embody that impact, embody what I like to call the pebble in the pond, where you drop the pebble in the pond and it reverberates out into the world. To be a person of influence. This is what we do in Story and Stage. We offer full support, monthly trainings, incredible coaching. I coach on the story, and EJ coaches on building the empire that will lift that story up and out into the world. We have accountability, and we do accountability challenges. We just go really deep inside the Story and Stage. And this year, it's being redesigned to have even more embodiment, more space for you to fill with your geniusness, your movement, your message. And so you can go to bit.ly/story and stage, or I have a feeling that is that the new QR
Yeah,
code?
that QR code, you
Right.
can scan that QR code to take you right over.
And you become a member it's $67 a month, or $670 a year. When you take the annual version, we give you 2 months off, 2 months reduction.
2 months free.
2 months free. I'm trying to say it in some sort of fancy way. You invest in a year and you get 2 months free. We're meeting monthly. And the good news about this is that when you join, so not only if you join tonight or when you join tonight, you will be able to jump straight into a coaching session with us and, see what we do, see how we do what we do. But in the classroom, and EJ, I don't know are you able to pull it up real quick to show that there's already, we've been cooking since I think April of this year, or maybe even sooner. I can't even remember. It's just a beautiful blend of time and space, where there's classes already there for you, pre-recorded and in there, sessions that we did already. You've got your money mindset class. You've got your, create your money maker. We've got your visibility victory. We've got resources and recommendations.
Can you see it?
I can see it well. There's every 2 weeks or so, I do what I call a high tea, because it is a very society experience where we just have open coaching and we celebrate you, celebrate your gifts and celebrate your accomplishments and give you tips and tools and techniques to take it to the next level. So you can come in for $67 tonight and consume all of this in the next few days and over the Christmas holiday. And we'd love to support you in this way. So if you want to come in this way and so many other ways, there I am. I have my own meme. I love that I have lived a life in which I have my very own meme from, what was that? The Surreal Life?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to spend 3 weeks in a house with Dennis Rodman. Highly recommended. So your invitation is here. We're going to jump off and jump in there. Story and Stage Society. Go to bit.ly/story and stage. Is only $67 a month, and we give you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of coaching to get your voice, your business, your brand all dialed in, to step into this 2026 version of yourself that you've chosen. I can't wait to hear who you have chosen, who you have decided to step into. And so, any final words? We're here again tomorrow night, by the way.
We are here tomorrow night. Same time, same channel.
You're going to date yourself. I'm older than you, so the same bat time, channel.
Same bat channel. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
And as another bonus, I actually put a custom GPT inside of the workbook just in case you have some money blocks and you want to create a lot of money for next year, and you may have a money roadblock, like maybe money doesn't come to you always and you feel like there's something around that. There's a GPT in there that will help you. So I might do a little intro video and put it in there so you can see how to use it. But yeah.
Yes. All right.
All right.
Thank you
Good
all.
night, everybody.
In the story and stage. Mwah.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow
Okay,
night.
we got like 1 minute. Oh,
Yeah.
it's like
Time to
time
go.
now. Okay, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.